YouTube and Twitch, I think we're on right now as well. So, but we're here at 1 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock Paris time, to interview an amazing young woman, a model. Her name is Kiko, and we're going to talk about something she's working on called ethical modeling, and probably just modeling in Paris. And I mean, how could we not talk about Paris? Like, that's like where I want to live. I mean, I want to move to Southern California, but I want an apartment in Paris and a place on the Mediterranean there, right? Is that south of France? Anyway, big dreams. But listen, we're going to get those big dreams accomplished if you help out. So it costs money to make this program. So you can go to my profile up there somewhere and sponsor me for $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month. I mean, dollars a month, whatever you want to do. You can also give us some awards here, right here on Haps. If you happen to be on Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, come to happs.tv and find at RevMacLive here and join us. And you can chat with us. Just make an account. And finally, let's have a word about our sponsor. So our sponsor is Scooch Case. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. This is the case for the case of the Scooch Wingman. And that case is on my phone here. And here's the unique feature of Scooch. We have this Wingman device here, which it's like one of those little pop-up holders. And it also does you can set it in the horizontal or the vertical position, use it to, it's really cool, especially in the vertical. You could just type right on it. Works real well. So I am really excited to have Scooch as a sponsor because they're out of Noblesville, Indiana. It is, it's an American company. I'm pretty sure it's manufactured in Japan. I would be imagining that to be the case. But the owner, I've had a little bit of an interaction with him. He seems like actually a great guy who, is kind of a caring human being. And that's what I want when we get a sponsor is I want to believe in the product. But without further ado, let's get to meet Kiko and let's have a lovely chat in our respective living rooms, although I'm in my office/bedroom and Kiko's somewhere in Europe on a photo shoot. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well and very excited. I've been an activist my whole life, and I think I discovered you literally through because a lot of people. Are you familiar with Clubhouse, the thing that everybody's been on for the last year?
There's a delay, maybe. I hope you can hear me.
Oh yeah, I can. Now there is a little bit of a delay. How long's the delay for you?
Like 2 seconds, 1 second.
Okay, so I'll try and pause too. So, but yeah, for some reason you're coming through choppy on here. Let me see. I might need to reset the server. But we'll assume everybody else can see it. So I was an activist, still am an activist, been an activist for a long time, and I was just I'm pretty sure I saw you on Instagram as opposed to meeting you through Clubhouse, and I saw the ethical modeling thing, and I'm like, ooh, I need to know more about what that is, because it sounded, right up my alley as an activist. And so I definitely want to talk about that. But before we jump into that a little bit, let's get to know you, and, then that'll help us know how you got to where you are. And I have to literally mute for 1 second and shout out to my 7-year-old. Hang on. All right. I had to yell, Aiden, Spanish in 5 minutes. Because he's got Spanish class. All right. So, Kiko, well, let's talk about, hey, Deanna. Hey, yay. Yes, you're awake. Holy cow. Deanna, Kiko, Deanna. Kiko is in the same country you are right now, but I'm not going to disclose that country. Not that I can't, but it's a fun thing now because Dr. Hooper is, I don't know. Anyway, you're both in the same country. There's no mystery here. I'm just having fun. It's unusual for you to be live when I'm awake. I know it is, but we're going to be doing this more and more. This is the big interview, UK, Europe, Paris, whatever edition. So yeah, we're going to be doing this much more often. So this will be fun, Deanna. Deanna is a cosmologist, Kiko, and she's a friend, and she's on HAPS and a broadcaster. So she's a good friend and a space scientist. So
Nice.
yes, and you want to hear more about Kiko? Of course, thank you. So yeah, Kiko, start us off. I guess you're Japanese because you have an accent. I'm guessing you were born in Japan, and how long have you? Yeah, tell us about coming from Japan to Paris and modeling, or whatever you want about yourself. You know, people are always curious to know how people get where they got.
For sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It means a lot. And yeah, for those, hi everyone. This is how I guess I start.
Sure.
My name is Kiko, and I am an ethical model, consciously working with ethical brands and sustainable brands who are making the world a better place, because I believe in positive fashion. So I support fashion that's kind to our planet, people, and even animals. And I talk about those things like even on my social media as well after working with brands. And I feel that this is my true passion. I believe that models today, with the power of social media, or just like, we are starting to have more voices like in the world, and which is wonderful. So I believe that models can be a voice for positive change. And I think, speaking of my modeling career, I have been modeling for about 10 years, which is crazy because considering how old I am, I'm 23. So which means that I started modeling at the age of 12 and 13. So how I became a model was being scouted on the street of Tokyo when I was 12. And after a lot of discussion with my parents, I decided to give it a go. And I got signed to a local model agency in Tokyo. But I was not doing a lot of work because I was focusing on studying and sports, because I was very passionate about swimming at the time. But when I turned 16, 17, I decided to study abroad in Canada. And this is when I started learning English and also really getting involved in the international modeling world, you might say. So I started doing fashion weeks. And then from there, after graduating from my high school, I went to New York, I went to London, Taipei. I went to so many countries to do fashion weeks and editorial shootings for magazines, and it was really, really wonderful. However, I also struggled with my mental health. I had a lot of pressure from my agent to look a certain way and act a certain way, and especially when it comes to my appearance, I thought I could change it as a teenager, because you don't really know who you are. So at the age of 17, I basically went on an extreme diet where I ate only an apple and salad a day. And
oh my goodness, how old were you?
17.
17. Oh my gosh. Hey, hang on half a sec. Peter, because he doesn't stay. No, sorry. Because Peter sometimes doesn't get to stay very long because he's busy. It's great to see you, man. As always, awesome to see you. Awesome to be on in the daytime where you have a chance to see me while you're at work. Kiko, that's Peter Bittner. He's a big dog at Haps. You know, he's an important guy. So we love Peter a lot, and he's saying hi to you as well.
Hello. Nice to
Oh,
see
high
you.
five award. Thank you, Peter. Yeah. So I should have told you before. I may kind of interrupt once in a while so we can talk to the
sure.
chat.
Yeah.
And
It was a
you can
long
talk to him too. If somebody says
introduction.
hi, go ahead and stop and say hi. So, but wait a minute. Let's stop for a second. Because I think that's, I want you to continue the story a little bit, if you're comfortable with it. Obviously, it sounds like you are, about the issues with the eating, because this is, this is really tying into even what you just said about environment and health and all these things to be, passionate about and believe in. And it aligns so much with me and even my mission here. That's very exciting. And I'm familiar with, eating disorders from a very close friend years ago. So you were being pressured to look a certain way by the modeling agencies and that type of stuff. Probably their intention was probably good, right? To get you more work or whatever, but it wasn't doing you any good, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, I think I will talk about self-love later on this live, but at the time I really didn't know who I was, I think. So it's hard when you don't know how to love yourself, and there are so many people around you, adults, like who are very powerful in the industry, like telling you what to do and what you need to do, and it's really hard to say as a vulnerable teenage young girl, like to say no, And I think so I just kind of followed what they told me. But I think their advice sometimes can be very, very damaging to your health.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. The whole psychology, I think, and I would think I was kind of trying to look up online activism with models in the 80s, and it is definitely a thing. Models have been doing activism, obviously, but I think the voices for women, one would hope, and having a voice is getting better and better. So you are in your teens now, like 17, and did you kind of just take a break? Did you tell them you didn't want to do that? How'd you kind of resolve the issue with the management and all of that?
I actually told them that because actually one day I went into their agency and I was told to lose 5 to 10 pounds in a week or so.
Oh my gosh.
And that was like a lot for sure. But basically I told myself that I'm going to do it. And so I this is when I decided to go on an extreme diet. And then I also exercised way too much. Like I would spend 3 hours on cardio, 2 hours on cardio and 1 hour on swimming. So 3 hours at the gym every single day after school. And at the time I was actually living with my host family in Canada. So I, in a way, like very cheeky, but like I felt like I had the power over what I ate and what I did. Because, when you're living with your real parents, I think it's a lot more harder. You're watched all the time. But I felt like since my host family had a lot of kids, so I felt like, their eyes are not really on me. So I felt like, okay, I can just kind of lie to them, like that I would have dinner with my friends. But instead, I was actually at the gym, exercising like crazy, not eating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a great story.
No.
But yeah, I did have a lot of pressure on me, and yeah, that's how I kind of decided to take it too seriously.
Yeah, that having that kind of issue early on, were you always kind of activist oriented? Like me, I had my literal first activist moment when I was 8. And that's a too long a story probably to tell, but I just, I learned some consumer level things that were not fair that influenced my life. So, I spoke up about it and kind of been an activist ever since, and I've been a professional activist, if there's such a thing, for really my entire adult life, and still consider myself an activist because of all the things that I'm trying to do, through this program. And you are definitely, I think, a lovely example of kind of both types of guests that I like to have, because you have you're a working professional model. You're successful, and you do modeling every day. You're not Kate Moss, like everybody doesn't know who you are, or Cindy Crawford or something, but you're out there. You're a professional model. You're working every day. So I deal and talk with a lot of working professionals on this show, from actors to directors to producers and stuff like that. But then the other side of the coin with you is you've got an ethical stand, and you're an activist. So it is doubly special. Oh, we're getting a...
I'm telling you, there's a buzz.
Okay. Somebody else will buzz them in. Okay. No, I'm in the middle of a show. No, they won't keep annoying us. Somebody else in the building will answer. Thank you, though. So there we go. Hey, Pablo. What's up, buddy? Great to see you, too. And I don't need that phone call. Hey, Pablo. All right. So sorry about that. I got a little distracted. Oh, Pablo's saying hi as well.
Hello, Pablo.
Oh, you know what?
Thank you.
They are beeping. I'm going to take a rare second here. Jump off. Hang on 1 second, okay? Hold on. Wait. Oh, it looks like it stopped. Okay. I guess I got to live in a building with well, anyway, so let's get back to where we were. Where were we, Kiko? You might remember, hopefully.
We were talking about how much pressure I had on me. Like I had to look a certain way and act a certain way from my agents, model agents, I think, in Canada.
A buzz. That was in Canada with your host family there?
Yeah, they were, yeah.
What was what kind of got you to stop, all the exercise and the eating and all of that stuff? Can you share that?
Yeah, actually I had like almost like a wake up call because one day I was hospitalized after continuing to live like this, where like I would spend the day eating a salad and apple, and then going to gym, like making sure that I spend like at least 3 hours at the gym. So I kept living like this for about 1.5 months, and I eventually got hospitalized, and that was kind of like the wake up call, because my doctor told me that like if I don't start eating, I will have a heart attack and die from it. And my heartbeat rate was like 36 per minute.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's it's good to be low, but not that low, probably.
Yeah, too low.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a wake up call. But the thing is, like, it's so tricky with the eating disorder because your voice in your head is so strong that like even when I was at the hospital, I felt like I had to still lose weight, which is crazy. Like I only weighted like in pounds, I'm not sure, but I think around like 90 pounds, and I'm like 5'11", so I'm very tall.
You're 5'11"?
Yeah, I am.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm almost 6 feet actually. So
from your pictures,
I'm very, very tall.
Yeah, you look tall, but I didn't realize you were that tall. Wow.
Yeah, I'm very, very tall. Yeah.
No wonder they spotted you. for a model in Japan because you don't have Japanese women that are 5'11" very often, do you?
No. I get a lot of staring when I'm in my own country. Yeah.
Sure. I bet you do. I know my friend, Dr. Machizawa, she lives in the States now, but she goes back and forth quite often. But she's always like, dude, if you were to come to Japan, like they would just follow you everywhere. Cause I'm, 6'1" and 275 pounds, big shoulders and everything. They'd just be like looking at you like, whoa, who is that? And she said that everybody would want to talk to you and hand you their business card and everything. So I want to go to Japan someday and be a big deal.
People will love you.
Literally. Deanna was kind of asking, I think, the same question about how you got through it. So you had this wake up call from the hospital, and what happened next?
And then I kind of kept doing what I was doing until I reached out to a point where, I had it every time, how can I explain? I would set a weight goal every time, maybe every other 2 weeks or something. So my goal at first was 55 kilo, which I don't know in pounds, by the way, sorry. But and then once I passed that, I actually wanted to go over 50, and then 45 and 40, and So when I finally saw the number 43 kilo, which is I imagine 88 pounds or something, I actually got scared because I thought it was too thing, it's too low. So that was kind of a wake up call, and then I decided to start eating again, but very slowly, and it was a struggle to start eating again.
Yeah, I would imagine. It's like you said, the idea is so deep in your head, right? And it's so frustrating when the conscious self wants to change, but the subconscious self, which is the same person, doesn't want to change. So I am just, so happy, obviously, that you were able, to get through that. So then, from there, you said you've been modeling for 10 years. How did you end up living in Paris? Because I want to live in Paris, so maybe I can follow the dream. Somebody will spot me and make me a model.
Actually, I did take a break about 1 year from modeling because I really felt like I needed to focus on my recovery from my eating disorder.
Oh, wow. Very good.
I did focus on that. And then once I felt, good in my body, but also felt comfortable in my own skin, I decided that it's I had a passion at the time to encourage other women to literally to respect their own bodies and to love themselves, and that was the sentence I was repeating at the time, all the time. I want to encourage other women to respect their bodies and to love themselves, and it was kind of my passion. And I wanted to go to Paris because I hadn't been to Paris for fashion. At the time I visited just once with my dad, but I didn't go there for work. And I knew that was the capital of fashion, and that meant that there would be so many young women like me at the time who are struggling with same issues, body image and mental health and low self-esteem and all that. So I wanted to go to Paris, not to model, to be honest, to encourage, young women to respect their own bodies and love themselves. And that was kind of my goal at the time. I know it sounds a bit hippie, but I wanted to also learn the language. So I decided to just give it a go after working, in modeling for a long time. I decided to kind of okay, I'm just going to go to Paris. And also at the time I was a little bit sick of with my agency in Tokyo because as I gained weight because I had to, to recover from my eating disorder, they asked me to lose weight again.
Oh my God, sorry, it's not funny, but yeah.
No, but it's like, hey, like I was ill, so like they obviously didn't understand like what I was going through, and like their advice was super silly, like how I should start smoking, and like like how smoking cigarettes can help you,
Lose weight.
like lose weight and like decrease your appetite and stuff like that. And so I was kind of sick of it. So I decided to kind of I decided to go to Paris for about 2 months or 3 months because I didn't have a working visa or anything at the time. So I went to language school there, and I kind of spent time to reconnect with myself and to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and to learn the language. And after 3 months, I realized that I really like Paris. So I decided to get a visa to work in Paris, and I did get the visa, artist visa, to work in Paris as a model. But that was when I discovered ethical fashion, sustainable fashion. And this is so interesting because, at the time, like I said, I felt already comfortable and confident in my own skin. And, the more you love yourself, the more you have space to care for the world, I believe. And because when I was ill, I was so fed up with my own programs, fed up with my angry self. But when I learned to love myself, I felt like I had more space to, like take action for others. So that's what I felt when I was living in Paris by myself. And this is when I actually met ethical and sustainable fashion. And I decided to I started going to like events, like workshops, and like workshops, and what are they called? I don't remember anymore. With the COVID, they're all canceled, so I don't remember what they're called anymore. But I think workshops, yeah. So I started going to events and workshops and that are related to ethical fashion, and I was so inspired by these people, and who are working in fashion but with ethical values, to make the world a better place. And I felt like I could be that person, but I didn't know how, because I didn't know if I wanted to do modeling again, because I didn't want to put myself in a similar situation, to what I went through. So I was a little bit skeptical, or I just kind of didn't know what to do with it. But then I decided that I want to do it in modeling. Like I want to promote ethical fashion in modeling. And this is when I came up with the name Ethical Model. So basically, literally, like I created this name by myself, and I have been calling myself technically like an ethical model for like, ever since then. And
Awesome.
So that's kind of like my story. And now I've been working as an ethical model for about 4 years, and I love it.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the what does it mean to be an ethical model? What to you, or even I suppose you have some type of system where you would determine whether someone that you were going to be representing their product meets your ethical standards, right? So what does it mean to be an ethical model?
Yeah, for me, an ethical model is anyone with ethical values or beliefs that to make the world a better place, like through their activism, platform, work, and other platforms, I would say. And that's how I define as like an ethical model. And I define this at my agency because, which I imagine we will get into it later on. Mm-hmm. But I have founded an ethical model agency called Ethical Models to connect sustainable brands with models who share their ethical values, so that brands can have meaningful campaigns. And because when I work with ethical brands, like I feel like they are happy because I understand what they're doing and I talk about what they're doing in my own words on my social media, but not only social media, but also like in my real life as well, and they love that. So brands can really have meaningful campaigns, and that's what that I think that's what they like. And so yeah, that's how I define an ethical model.
Very good. And are you a part of that ethical modeling agency that you spoke of?
Yeah, I created it.
Oh, you created it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Wow, cool. So are you repping yourself as a model right now?
Yeah, so I'm doing both. Technically, sorry. Because I have been like getting so many messages and emails from like models who want to do the same as I'm doing, working with ethical brands. So I wanted to give the same opportunity to other models who are also change makers. So yeah, I decided to create an ethical model agency. That way I can support not only models, but also sustainable brands, who are willing to grow. And it's really only the beginning, to be honest. Like it's very, very new. We had the first client in Paris like 2 weeks ago, and we just started having like a new clients. So I'm just taking one day at a time, like focusing on maybe small steps. But I'm quite sure that it will work out, as ethical fashion, sustainable fashion is on the rise today.
Yeah, I think so much. I mean, the modeling and ethics, sustainability, like these cryptocurrencies that are super popular right now, take up a massive amount of energy to mine their cryptocurrency, meaning computer energy is like it's insane. It's something like on the order of it uses as much electricity a day as like New York or something. It's not quite that extreme, but it's a lot of energy that they use to do this Bitcoin worldwide. And it's just not logical, to use that much energy to create, a cryptocurrency or an investment. So I would definitely say if Bitcoin wants you to do any modeling, say no. And have you been able to sign any other models to the agency yet, or work? Because this is your first thing, right?
Yeah.
This is your
Well, thank you for asking. I mean, we received over 100 applications already, which is wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And we have about 35 models on board now. And one thing that I'm also focusing on is to be very inclusive. In terms of models' age, disability, height, weight, skin color, these things really matter to me. And so we do have like no gender models as well, non-binary, which is something that you never really find in modeling or in the fashion industry, and because it's so important to be, I believe, inclusive.
Yeah, I think if I don't watch Fashion Week stuff that much, or don't pay as much attention to fashion as I probably used to. A friend of mine named Roger Legal in Chicago, so the modeling agency, and I think it was Ford, but I don't remember, that signed Cindy Crawford would say that they discovered Cindy Crawford, but Roger was a photographer and a professor at a school where she was from. She's from DeKalb, Illinois, and he had been teaching. He was a film guy, so he was teaching acting, and he was doing modeling things and all kinds of stuff. Roger's still does that. Well, I think he's retired now, but anyway, he was the first person to really identify her, and he actually took her to the agency too. So, anyway, how I got on the Cindy Crawford thing that deep, I don't know why, because it made me think about it. But I'm curious if you have you still have representation outside of your agency too, right? To get you work. Yeah. So that's okay. You can have multiple.
Yeah.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
technically freelancer. But I am with agencies in Germany as well as in France. And I'm with them under non-exclusive contract, and they are happy with it. And they are very supportive of what I do. And actually, it's very, very difficult when you want to be picky about, clients that you want to work with, like me, because I go through a lot of research. Like I do a lot of research before reaching out to brands, or when brands reach out to me and ask me to model for their brands. I always make sure that they are actually doing or producing some sustainable products that help the world become a better place. So I guess I can say, like, I don't know if you have ever heard of the term greenwashing. So yeah, now with like big companies like fast fashion brands, like they started using the word like green or sustainable, but their business models are not sustainable. So they are pretty much focused on like making profit out of the term, or using the term like green and sustainable, but they are not doing much or not offering to the world actually.
Right.
But so I do a lot of research before I reach out to brands, or when brands even reach out to me to work together. And so yeah, again, going back to agencies, yes, I think it's good that it's like this, because I have freedom over my work, and whenever I get this request, I can just forward them to my agency. I have my agency that I work closely in France, and they are very supportive of what I do, and they understand what I stand for. Other agencies, not so much, to be honest, because I know it's still like a new thing, sustainable fashion, and which is totally fine. I don't want to pressure anyone to do things that they don't feel comfortable. So yeah, I'm just happy with how it is, and I'm just going to keep going like this. Maybe one day if I become big, and it would be nice to handle my work with just one agency, because it's a lot of
Sure.
also,
right.
yeah.
But yeah, I think most people probably have no idea how difficult it is to be a model and hustling and getting jobs and everything. Hang on, I'm being.
Oh, oh, so cute.
All right, go play. Go.
Hello.
Hi. Say hi. All right. He's not really shy, but he'll pretend that he is. All right, Aiden, come on. Yeah, so that really sounds pretty cool. The clients, some of them are coming to you, some of them are coming to them. Are you identifying, like certain brands that turn out to be ethical, and then you're reaching out to them?
So there's a big delay.
Oh, sorry.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can reset the delay here. Hold on a second.
And we
We'll
have
be gone
someone
for.
new, really. Yeah.
Yeah, hang on one sec. It's just going to go. dark for a second. Oh, hey, Willie. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Did it do it? Did it reset or not? Hang on.
I think it's better.
Is it better? Okay. Oh, it reset fast. Awesome. Okay. That was awesome. So, yeah, are you reaching out to places and saying, hey, I think you're sustainable. I like what you're doing. I would love to work with you.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
Honestly,
no,
like,
100%.
why are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? That's the question I have. Like for most of models, like, and then even when they get to work with brands that they, I mean, like that are like high fashion or whatever, but they don't know what the heck they are doing. It's only about looks, and honestly, like I'm a little bit down with that, to be honest, because I need something more than just looks. Because I need to again, like I feel like I'm on a mission to spread love to the world and to make the world a better place. And looks aren't everything. And so yeah, I do reach out, and I don't want to wait. I rather take action, and I also want to tell them that they are doing amazing job, and we need more brands like them. So just like another feedback in a way also. And yeah, it works. And again, like when they want to talk about price, and this is when I can forward the emails to my agent, and because I don't think it's a great idea for me to get into the negotiation.
Sure. Right.
So yeah.
Well, that is really neat. I know I have learned long ago that no one ever says yes if you don't ask them the question. Kiko, do you want to go to Japan with me? Sure. But I had to ask you, like you got to ask, right? And I do that all the time. I didn't know you. I asked you, and you said yes, and I do that pretty much. Now people kind of recommend other people for me to talk to, but yeah, anybody that's out there listening that struggles with that or struggles with getting a no, look, it just takes no's to get to a yes. You got to. You're going to always get a few no's, but eventually you get a yes. And what you're doing is it's so admirable, and I'm totally taken by it in the that you're passionate about this, and you're able to take your work and translate it into something that that really can make a difference. So having those 30 models or so that you can also put out there to work, and having models with disabilities, models with that are trans, etc. I think that's fantastic. Models that are, how did you say it? Not ambiguous, but neutral in gender or whatever. That stuff is that's great. So you're even going, beyond the ethics of the organization that you're working with. You're creating an ethical organization as well.
I mean, I think everything is connected to everything else. This is something that I believe in my life. I think like I've been realizing that I just want to do things out of love, and when I think of love, and why not include all kinds of people instead of just one kind of people. And it's the same for fashion. Like if there's fashion out there that is positive towards the world, or human rights, animal rights, why not? And so for me it's really about love, and this is how I kind of try to see it as. Yeah.
Well, I love that idea around love, and you were talking about self-love a little earlier as well. And when I was, well, first of all, I agree 100%. Love is the answer. It is. It just is. I mean, you throw love into it and it's going to be better. And love isn't always perfect and love isn't always easy. But I think love is really, if the foundation is rooted in love, I think it makes a huge difference. And when I was homeless, I was helped by, therapists and my actually incredibly close friend who's a psychologist. And we met when I was homeless, actually. But for me, I struggle with self-love still. And the way that I kind of deal with it or see it is that I have all the love inside me. For me, the prop because I have like a massive ego and I'm just I love myself, you know what I mean, but I don't love myself on the inside, right? So that there's just that weak little man in there, the little boy part of me that doesn't know how to love himself. Yeah, exactly. And so recognizing that and looking into myself and saying, you really do love yourself. Look at the things that you do is so important. And that you found that journey to self-love for yourself. I think it's huge. I mean, love and self-love, those are big deals for humans.
Yeah. And talking to yourself positively really matters, or the way you talk to yourself really, really matters. You can be an enemy in your head to yourself, or you can be your own best friend. And it's only you who can change it. And it's so empowering to know that, but it's so hard to change it. I mean, especially if you have been very self-critical for a long, long time. And I think that's something that the eating disorder did to me, to talk to myself so negatively and so hushy. So I had to kind of learn to fix that. And I'm not going to say that I fully, look at me today, I recovered completely. I have recovered from my eating disorder itself, but I think there's still some scars or something that, I still struggle with, which is the negative voice in my head, So that's why it's very important for me to, create a routine in the morning. Every morning I do journaling, positive practice, positive affirmation, yoga, meditation, not too long. But I think it's so important for me to practice self-love and practice gratitude every single day. Because then, you cannot heal the world without healing yourself, So, it's definitely.
I love that. And I think that we don't talk about it enough as people, as humans, as, these beings that we are. And I really do. Me and my subconscious, I've got issues with my subconscious. My subconscious is a jerk sometimes, but I like to look at this inner self and quiz them a little bit, dude, inner self, wake up, calm down, be good. I want to do this thing. And it is good to have that dialogue, because just like I actually had, so I have what do I have? 2 therapists now, and then I'm so privileged. And then the woman that is kind of the intermediary between my psychiatrist and I, she's a physician's assistant. But I recently, now I have another therapist. She's not acting at, so that we're doing sex therapy, but it's really more about that part of me as it is incorporated into the rest of my therapy. And it has just been phenomenal in understanding myself and going into yourself, understanding who you are, figuring out how to love yourself and what you need. It's just huge. And that I would think you as at some point, and you're only 23 for goodness sake, you've been modeling for 10 years though. You're kind of like a modeling veteran. So as you grow, you'll kind of be like the old wise model, even though you'll only be like 26. And you can really help the other models kind of understand, because modeling's a lot of pressure. Again, people don't really understand how pressure packed modeling is, and a lot of models suffer from anorexia, or like you said, smoke cigarettes or do drugs, or it's kind of a wild life at times too.
Yeah, according to a study that's been done by Model Alliance, which is like a non-profit organization founded in New York, 68% of models surveyed struggle with eating disorders or depression, or combination both. So it's very clear that mental health is like a big issue, and I think when people are depressed, I just believe that they talk to themselves so negatively, which is not easy to change. I know, but that's why I said practicing positive affirmations, even if you don't believe in them. Like honestly, like when I put some positive affirmation, I don't know, videos, like there are some videos on YouTube, that are like repeating like some affirmations, and I started doing this and when at first I really didn't believe in whatever they said. I was like a bit skeptical about the whole thing, but the more I did it, the more I actually started saying those things to myself, and honestly it really helped me to get out of my I guess depressive mindset.
Your depressive mindset. And wow, I want to just sit with that, because I want to respond with a couple of things, because there was just a lot there that is very, very worthy of speaking to. Deanna says, I struggled with my body issues growing up, was bullied for my weight. It's tough to get rid of those voices. Boy, whether they're your own voices or somebody else's voice that got in your head, you are right. 100%. It is really, really tough. And Kiko, you're addressing the negative voices and the affirmations. Seriously, I should probably now add you to my therapy routine and call you for an hour every week too, because you're helping me through the show with all the stuff you're talking about for yourself. So, and really it is, if you don't have access to therapy, or your therapy isn't going well, or if you feel like you need therapy, and you can't get it where you are, call me. There are ways to get therapy for like $20 an hour on sliding scale. People don't know that type of thing. There are ways to find help. So you guys can text me. You can find my text number on my Instagram, I think on my Twitter. If not, I'll make sure it's there. But you really got my, my inner voice thinking about the positivity that you have to tell yourself, and this idea that we have this saying in America, it's fake it until you make it. Pretend you're the multi-billionaire and you'll manifest it, into reality. But that's not really it to me. It's in the fake it to make it. It's just like, give yourself the confidence that you know you will have when you've made it now, right? Be that confident person and love yourself and tell yourself, Revolution, you are fucking awesome, dude. You are amazing. And, don't do it on the middle of a program in front of your mirror, but I'm not lying. So
just in your head.
Yeah, you can say it in your head, but you know what? It actually can help to say it out loud too, to hear it. To hear it. So yes, you are just like what I love about these interviews. I think the most is I've never had an interview that wasn't fun, that wasn't a good time. And I always go into the interview like, oh my God, what if I mess this up? What if it's horrible or something? And you're right. I'm like, wait a minute. I know what I'm doing. I
Yeah,
should, before the show, be saying, hey, this is going to be awesome, because it's always awesome. And you know how to do it,
exactly.
and make sure you
Yeah.
do that. And you're right. But I mean, even just before this show, I was thinking, oh, how are you going to pull this off? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and look at it. It's like it
You did
usually
so
goes.
well, and you're so professional. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I am, is there anything? So first of all, wow, thank you for coming. And
Thank you for having me. It was
let's
very, very cool.
well, let's definitely talk again. In what I would love to do, Kiko, is in the future. Oh, good. Yeah, you can answer that question from Deanna here before we go. I think that'd be fun. We got a couple of minutes left, but I would love to do like a conversation with, maybe if we could ever arrange it, one of your clients that you're ethically modeling for. That could be fun. And do a little round table with some of your other ethical models sometime, because they could get some exposure too
sure.
on FaceTime,
Yeah.
So let's talk about doing that sometime soon. And just holy cow, man, what a freaking fun hour. I had a blast. It went really fast. And you're awesome. You're really great. I really just appreciate you saying yes
Should I
to being
answer
on
the
the show.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, where do you plan to take your ethical modeling in the future? Well, that's a great question actually, because I'm kind of like always busy with, what I'm doing every day and focusing on like taking one day at a time. So I'm not like thinking too much ahead of future, but I think it's so important to also at the same time, like, set up a goal and to have a plan. But I think like, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but there's sustainable development goals set by United Nations. And this is called
Wait a minute.
SDGs.
There's sustainable what?
Development goals.
Oh, okay. Developmental goals.
Yeah. So it's called SDGs, and they have 17 goals to be achieved by 2030. To create a more sustainable and a better future for all. I like to make sure that my ethical modeling career and ethical modeling work is aligned with those goals, or, I guess I want to always be true and honest with myself, because sometimes I feel like still, not really, I have a hard time actually saying no to things sometimes. And this is when
I know that.
Yeah, I think this is when I have to actually set up some boundaries, work boundaries I'm talking about when it comes to ethical modeling, but for my private life as well, I think it's so important for me to kind of set up these boundaries for myself to stay honest and stay true to myself. So that would be my answer, I think. I don't know if that helps.
I think that's a lovely and beautiful answer. Before we go, I wanted to here we go. I'm just grabbing a couple of pictures from your Instagram, because I want to show everybody how absolutely lovely you are. And I mean, they can already tell, but I grabbed a couple that will definitely show how tall you are, which is just blows my mind, because I'm sure my, wired in brain perceived that, you would not be very tall because you're Japanese, but you're a professional model. So usually you have to be at least 5'10", right? So let's see here if I can show these real quick. Oh yeah, excellent. There's one.
You can also go to my my book. I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely. Send me that. Put it in the. You can put it in the chat too. But if you want to just send it to me, keep the little area pink down there. Don't unlock it. You did it. There you go. Perfect. All right, let's see. Let's show this one. I love that photo. Was that for something specific?
Yeah, that's with an upcycled brand from Spain, and it was in Cadiz, south of Spain. And yeah, it was like just before the sunset. I mean,
that's absolutely just as a photograph, a beautiful photograph. And I love the colors, and obviously they can, play around with the color in the, on Photoshop, but it's just a gorgeous photo, and just very, very statuesque and powerful stance you have there. Let's look at the other one I've got.
Yeah, that's also upcycle kimono. So upcycling fashion is actually upcycle fashion is like fashion that works with dead fabrics or unwanted fabrics. So it's obviously good for the environment. And
I love this. So wait a minute, it's upcycled fashion. Of course, I've heard of people, renting fashionable stuff or reusing or whatever, but this is actually taking material that had kind of been put aside, no longer popular, and make. Oh my gosh, that's neat.
And this is kimono, but it's very
kimono.
westernized, I think.
Because it looks like the kimono has a skirt, right? It's very short. Yeah, that's neat. That is lovely.
And those shoes are also very sustainable, as they work with like vegan materials, but
nice.
They are using recycle polyester. So it's actually like recycled water bottles. It's like recycled plastic. So they're not using new resources to create those shoes.
Right.
They do look like real leather. So how people claim about or complain about vegan leather because it's just plastic and it's not eco-friendly, blah, blah, blah. But this is eco-friendly because they are working with recycled polyester.
Yeah, that's really cool. I know Deanna points out there some brands that use plastic from the ocean to make fibers for clothes, for sure.
Exactly.
And they can make those jackets. I have one of them. I know it's not made out of recycled soda bottles because it's from a company that doesn't do that, but you can get them that way. And yeah, Kiko, I don't know how many interviews you've been able to do on this yet. Have you done any?
No, on this platform.
This is the first one?
Platform? You mean on this platform?
No, just in general. Have you done any interviews for the ethical modeling?
A lot.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. Cool. All right. I didn't know how far along that had come. So
you can go on actually about page. The link I shared with you with you guys. Kiko.book .fr. And you can go to about page and you will see the interviews that I did or futures media I was featured in, just so that you know.
Oh yeah, we are here, and let me share that with everybody else.
And I share my story as well. And I wanted to ask you if you also share your story, your empowering story as a homeless survivor, because I'm so interested, actually.
Yeah, I will. Yep, I will. Well, we can talk after I end the show here. We can talk for a couple of minutes too, but I will put those in the chat for everybody later. You can always add to the chat because there are a couple of people that have interviewed me here on this platform, and I've talked about my story in various forms. So that's one way. And then I definitely need to kind of retell my story, probably just in an episode too. But and maybe link to Anna's interview with you, Rev. Yes, exactly, Deanna. I was going to do that after, just because I can barely talk, let alone type and talk. So But was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we go? Because I know you only had about an hour or so.
No, it was perfect. I'm just so
Excellent.
grateful for having me.
Oh, well, the same, Kiko. I'm honored. I'm grateful. I'm so excited about the future of what you're doing. You're talking to a old activist here, who's been pissed off at capitalism his whole life. So you're out there, trying to improve the world. And I just so appreciate you very much. And I hope that people see this. I would definitely encourage your models, your friends, your family to see this and share it out there
sure.
so we can spread the word. And anytime, Kiko, you want to come back and update us about stuff, we definitely should do something with some of your models and, have some conversations and dialogues. And some of it could be pretty serious, if you want to. I think that would be great and give them some exposure. And yeah, I'm always happy to be around.
For sure.
And
that's great. Yeah.
oh yeah. And the last thing, you will definitely be on my list of, as I'm starting to meet more people in the entertainment industry and media and fashion and music and all that. Whenever I've got somebody that I think is really awesome, obviously I want them on the show, but then there's another level of awesomeness, like somebody like you. So if anything comes up where I meet somebody that might be looking for a models or whatever, I'll be like, oh no, wait, oh, you're looking for a model? Oh, I know somebody. And I'll make sure they know who you are. So I'll be your promoter, from America too. So I love what you're doing.
Yeah, I love America. So hopefully I can go back sometime soon.
Yeah. Well, we got to get you to book something in Chicago so then we could have lunch.
That would be great.
Not likely I'm going to get a modeling gig in Paris, but you never know. So
you never know.
All right, Kiko, thank you very much. You stay right there. Don't exit or anything. I'm going to end the program. Everybody, thank you so much for spending an hour chatting with Kiko and I. It has been just a fabulous hour for me, and I'll be honest. I have spent the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've been pretty depressed, and having these moments of joy here are good and uplifting, and I appreciate it because I was on the phone with my therapist this morning for a regularly scheduled thing, but trying to walk through what has been getting me down, and hopefully this is the kick I needed to push myself back up. So it's been a pleasure, Kiko.
And thank you so much for being so vulnerable and being so open. Like it's such a it's difficult to even do that. So, I don't want to say I'm proud of you, but I'm proud of you for doing that.
I appreciate that. I know what you mean. I've done that. I don't know if I've quite done it that deeply on the program, but I am definitely somebody that like I've always, I need to do this because you can have t-shirts made so easily now, but I just want to get a t-shirt that says I'm bipolar, ask me about it. Because I really am huge in terms of caring about mental health and stuff like that. And, maybe we can do something together around mental health too, because it's a huge issue for me. And being able to be vulnerable in this space is a wonderful thing for other people because they can see that, you can be vulnerable and how it can, how it can help. So, I appreciate all you do in that area. And honestly, the ability to be vulnerable today, I'm sure came from this really good experience too. So you're much appreciated. I think we had a lot of love here. That was the thing, right? We know love is a big deal. And I was definitely feeling a lot of love here today.
Great.
Fantastic. Well, we will be back on tomorrow, Friday. Expect more of these shows coming at you at about, what did we start at? 2:00 Eastern time, I think, and 8:00 if you're in Paris. So we will be doing more of these at this time. And I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
For
Kiko,
sure.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me again.
was lovely. Thanks everybody for
It's really
watching. Appreciate all of you. Deanna, really appreciate you putting up those links for me, which I see you just did. You're awesome. Thank you. And we will see you.
For sure. Thank you so much, Diana.
Very good. All right, everybody. Peace be with you.